your side. You're watching News 19 this morning.
Good morning, and thank you for waking up with News 19 this morning. I'm Ashley Izbicki. It is now 4:30. Continuing coverage at 6:05, a Clarendon County mother is demanding justice after she says her son was set on fire because of the color of his skin. Now, before we continue this story, we do want to warn you that some of you may find this video disturbing. It happened in October, and it left the 6-year-old with scars on his back today. No word yet on when a Fairfield County woman accused of killing her husband and 2 children will have a bond hearing. Sharon Coleman went before a judge yesterday and did not speak except to say yes or no to the judge. Deputies say Coleman set her family's home on fire Sunday while they were sleeping, her 2 kids, 6 and 8 years old, inside. New details this morning on the man arrested for driving a school bus drunk with 15 students and 3 chaperones on board. According to the incident report, Brent Patrick Carter admitted to investigators he drank 3/4 of a gallon of bourbon the night before he was arrested.
Good morning, Lionel. We are just a couple hours away from when the rally is expected to start. The call for change growing louder here in Columbia at the State House grounds. A lot of people asking for the Confederate flag to come down. You can see it flying in front of the Confederate monument where it's been since 2000.
Sweet 16, baby. All right, we're all excited this morning.
That's exactly how he said it.
I think so too. Well, this morning, thousands of people will be picking up the pieces of their broken bracket.
Efren?
Yeah, me too. I feel
Ashley,
Efren.
brackets all over the floor.
I'm done.
I'm
That's
cheap,
why you're single.
and there's no one to date.
It's the 8th worst state to live in if you're single.
I'm cheap and there's no one to date.
You know what? We're going to find you love. That is my mission.
Ashley's
Or at least a
mission to find
birthday
me
date,
love.
right? We begin this half hour with breaking news. An Oklahoma jury has found a white police officer, Betty Shelby, not guilty for the shooting death of an unarmed black man. A Latson man accused of trying to join ISIS pleaded not guilty in court. 18-year-old Zakaria Abdin was arrested last month as he tried to get on a plane to the Middle East. Well, that may be the most obvious way to use your cell phone to cheat, but with today's technology, that is just the beginning. Your child could be using apps to do their homework or to get immediate answers when they're taking a test. And we begin with a sad story out of Lexington County. 4 people are dead after flames ripped through a home overnight. We do know one survivor was taken to a burn center in Augusta for treatment. Let's get right to News 19. Sonia Gutierrez, she is live at the scene and has been out there talking to officials. Nuclear reactors that were supposed to supply your power more than a year ago could get scrapped. Top executives with SCE&G say they may stop the project because its partner, Westinghouse, filed for bankruptcy. Well, here's a good reason why you shouldn't try to kiss a poisonous snake, because I'm sure that was on the top of your to-do list, right?
Check.
Turns out it may try to kiss you back. That's what happened to a Florida man of one of these only in Florida stories. He leaned in to kiss a rattlesnake. The snake bit the unidentified man on the tongue. This was Tuesday. He was airlifted to the hospital.
Differently.
I always go by jean size, dress size. Sometimes I buy a dress that's too small just so that I know I reached my goal.
Get that goal.
Fitting in that dress. We are putting my artistic skills to the test, and let me preface this by saying I have zero, literally no artistic talent at all. So this is going to be pretty interesting. She's already looking like Princess Leia, right?
So this is what we're working on this afternoon. And her eyes.
There's her
will-
mouth. Look at how much. This isn't terrible.
We'll do her buns over here.
All right, I got half her hair done, but you can have the full experience today.
Shaking, shake, milkshake.
Yes.
Because we could be looking at either straight line wind damage or tornado damage.
And it's hard to decipher, so it's a lot of math, a lot of engineering, things way over my head.
Mine too.
And the big thing that
Hey, good morning, Dion. Yeah, you know, snow is pretty when it's falling, but it is not pretty on the roads. And it's something we don't see very often here in South Carolina. So it certainly causes a lot of concern on the road.
You had me at it. Tastes like butter.
Yeah, no, you keep that butter taste and you.
A lot of women, I know you relate to this. You sweat off some of that makeup, don't you? If you forget to wash your face at night. Been there. But I love that this day is falling on a Friday. Another reason to smile this morning. Today is National Random Acts of Kindness Day. So people in groups across the country are celebrating by doing something so simple, just being nice.
And
look at him. His arms
Yes.
covered, his face covered, his outfit destroyed. He loved the cake. So
Attaboy.
happy
Yeah.
birthday, baby Gray.
Yeah.
I love you.
Hey, good afternoon, Darcy. Certainly a lot of excitement here and maybe a little bit of fear, at least for me anyway. I haven't had the chance to ride this thing yet, but take a look. These are some of the first riders going up, testing out the Fury 325.
Parents, listen up. You may have the passwords to your child's social media accounts, but that does not mean you know what they're really doing online. It's been said, love don't cost a thing, but for some couples, it could be costing them their relationship. This morning, we begin a series on love and finances. When it comes to your money, do you see eye to eye with your mate? Well, Sumter County deputies are accusing a man of setting his girlfriend on fire. 44-year-old Roy Holton is behind bars this morning. Deputies say after an argument, he doused the woman with lighter fluid and lit her with a cigarette lighter.
This morning, we now know we are expecting to get the names of the two people who died in what officials are calling an apparent murder-suicide. We also know classes are back to normal here on campus, except for those at the Arnold Public School of Health.
We are breaking into your regular programming with just a tragic story from Charleston that we've been following now for more than 12 hours. Family and friends still waiting for the autopsy results from the coroner, but we do know 3 of the victims are males, 6 are females. A key development really also, police now saying the gunman was in that church, sitting in that Bible study with those victims for an hour, 60 minutes before opening fire. We did hear, if you're just now tuning in, from Governor Haley just moments ago, certainly tearing up, an emotional statement from her saying we are a strong and faithful state. These 9 families, they need us, and now the healing process will start. Certainly a stark contrast compared to as early as 6 o'clock this morning when we started to see people trickle in, lining up at the barricades there surrounding the monument. Everyone wanting to really witness something so monumental. It's now been 50 minutes since the flag was lowered. Now that 30-foot flagpole is standing bare for the first time in 15 years. If you are just now waking up with us, schools are closed, many without power, even more without water, and crews still busy. You're taking a live look right now at Palmetto Baptist, where crews are trying to pump in water directly to the hospital system. So residents and businesses are not the only ones dealing with this. The hospital really having a tough time this morning trying to just simply do their jobs and take care of their patients. They are having a lack of water or low water pressure at hospitals in Columbia. We know 3 different hospitals impacted. You got to remember, it's still raining out there. It's still going to be cloudy, and it's still going to be dark a lot longer than it normally would. So that is kind of adding to the chaos. And I also want to talk too about what we heard from Sheriff Randy Garrett out of Clarendon County earlier. Quote, growing worse by the hour. So this is an ongoing situation. We are not just recapping what happened yesterday. We are telling you what has happened overnight, what has happened this morning, and what is happening right now. As you can see, this is a live look at some of the roads. I believe this is Garner's Ferry Road. Yes, it is, just down there by Wildcat Road, where it was just remarkable and very scary video yesterday of cars just being submerged by high water. Hey ladies, I'm here at Stronghold Gym. You can see the usual gym equipment here behind me, but that's not why we are here. The secret is in the back. Let's go.
This is aerial fitness. Yeah, I can't do that. Or that.
You learn how to fall. You know you're going to fall. You know you're going to make mistakes.
Aerial fitness coach Tamala Hasty has been polishing and perfecting her craft for a decade.
It's done amazing things for my mind and my body. To be honest, I've struggled with eating disorders all of my life. And I know that when I'm doing aerials, I have to be in the best condition that I can be in.
That way, she can coach others to transform their bodies, conquer their fears, and gain confidence.
We like to take everyday people and make them feel like superstars.
Coming up tomorrow on News 19 this morning, I'm going to put my inner aerialist
to the test with Goldie. Also, later this week, we're going to hear from a married couple who is using aerial fitness to build their relationship, and a teen who is breaking some serious barriers with this fabric. At Stronghold Gym, where obviously I'm going to need to do a lot of conditioning. Ashley Izbicki, News 19, WLTX. Sex trafficking is often thought as being held hostage and physically forced. While that can be the case, it's often threats and fear that really come into play. In an exclusive interview with News 19, a Midlands woman is breaking her silence, painting the picture of what happened to her, hoping it doesn't happen to you or your loved one.
Some days, yeah, I hope he burns in hell. And then some days I hope he gets help.
It's been 6 years since an eager 21-year-old, we'll call Nicole, packed up her life in South Carolina and moved with her husband to San Diego. She soon found herself, though, with no car, no family, and divorce papers on the way, so she turned to Craigslist, applying for a modeling and massage job.
It was a nice apartment in a nice neighborhood behind a big gated complex, really.
The man behind the business, who's now behind bars, had her pose in lingerie. And that's when the memories start to fade.
There were a lot of Xanax that were taken. He told us that it would make us feel better. I remember one of the girls making margaritas in the kitchen, not sleeping for several days.
She thought this one gig would lead to more jobs, but had no idea it would quickly unfold into a nonstop sex ring. Court documents show James Earl Phillip preyed on vulnerable, desperate women, 8 girls going through similar issues, all falling victim to his scheme to make money. Nicole says there wasn't any violence at first, but she was intimidated by him, and that fear kept her in his condo. Plus, he had copies of her driver's license, birth certificates, and knew where she lived.
They find out things about you to use against you later on, so that way it's like the blackmailing process.
After several days, she found the courage to run.
There was a fight involved, and he threatened to shoot me, and one of the other girls was beating me up.
She made it to a gas station and called police, but officers didn't arrest Phillip.
Why wasn't my word good enough? It took another victim to come forward.
In truth, it looks a lot like prostitution.
Nicole finally got help in South Carolina at Sexual Trauma Services. The director, Ginny Walker, says they helped 12 sex trafficking victims from 4 counties right here in the Midlands last year alone.
We absolutely believe that we'll uncover more victims.
I think that a lot of people don't think that it happens to adults. It's happening in your backyard and in your own community.
As for her own story,
you don't ever really fully move on from it. It's always going to be a piece that I carry around with me, but I don't want it to define my life.
after studying human trafficking for 2 years, Nicole is now raising awareness, organizing events at colleges, attending meetings, and using social media to share stories about other victims. Unfortunately, she didn't get where she is today easily. Coming up Monday on News 19, a closer look at her uphill battle of recovery. In the studio, Ashley Izbicki, News 19, WLTX. She's a little girl with a big heart, and this year she's the American Heart Association's Heart Hero. I had the opportunity to meet Emily and to talk to her family about their journey over the past 2 years. Here's her story of beating the odds. Like most 2-year-olds, Emily Windham loves to play, read,
ears, eyes, nose,
and dance.
She has the best personality. She's always happy. She makes everyone around her happy.
But unlike most toddlers, she's had to fight a battle that her parents, Jane and Kevin, never expected.
I had a great pregnancy. Everything went well. I was healthy and no problems. And as far as we knew, everything was fine.
Emily was born 3 weeks early.
When I first looked in her little eyes, I knew she had Down syndrome.
Their little baby was moved to the special care nursery. An echocardiogram confirmed she had a heart defect called atrial ventricular septal defect. That's when there are holes between the chambers of the right and left sides of the heart, and the valves that control the blood flow aren't formed correctly.
The symptoms can be similar to congestive heart failure. And surgery is necessary usually before 6 months of age.
A week later, genetic testing confirmed Jane was right. Emily also had Down syndrome.
When we first brought her home, we were either at the pediatrician or the cardiologist. Every week we were seeing somebody.
Until she had open heart surgery at just 5 months old.
It was pretty tense. Just the waiting and the anticipation.
To their relief, surgery was a success.
She was pink. She had been very pale before surgery, and she was pink, and that was the first thing I noticed.
She also started gaining weight faster and is continuing to surpass expectations.
She's done well. She's on no medications.
Emily just turned 2 on Monday. What are your hopes for her future?
Our hopes are that she will live a normal life with or without a disability.
And that other parents going through the same challenges will have the same opportunities.
If we had not had the American Heart Association and the research that the American Heart Association does, it's possible that Emily would not have been able to have her surgery.
Well, now you have a chance to make that possibility happen for other families right here in the community of the Midlands. I talked to the FBI in Columbia. Investigators say it is happening here and a lack of patriotism and parenting might be to blame.
There's a disconnect between our teens with the principles that have made this country as strong as it is now and has been in the past.
And that could be the opening extremist groups are looking for.
Probably our most concerning threat.
From thousands of miles away, extremists reach out to young Americans online.
We will continue to wage jihad.
Through these videos, chat rooms, video games, and social media at their fingertips.
This is kind of what keeps you up at night because there's no template to it. It's very hard to predict.
Christopher Derrickson with the FBI in Columbia says the threat has gone up significantly over the past 2 years. In California, authorities say an 18-year-old who stabbed 4 students at UC Merced in November had ISIS propaganda on his laptop and an ISIS flag on his backpack. In Indiana, the FBI says a teen boarding a New York City-bound bus was arrested for trying to join ISIS in June. And here in South Carolina, a York teen was released from jail in May after police say he was recruited by ISIS and planned to attack a North Carolina military base.
Unfortunately, that's not something that we see on a frequent basis, but it's our ultimate fear.
Derrickson says violent extremists come in softly, introducing themselves to disgruntled teens, gaining their trust.
And the next thing you know, the extremists will feel comfortable requesting the teen maybe take photos of an infrastructure or begin to recruit.
And it's happening right here.
There's teens in the Midlands that have certainly encountered extremists online.
It's the perfect storm and the perfect time to recruit someone who's vacillating and not quite sure of who they are and how they fit into the world.
Professor Robert Valois says the male adolescent brain doesn't finish developing until as late as 25 years old.
The last parts of the adolescent brain to finish are the frontal lobes. And the frontal lobes deal with things, decision making, problem solving, impulse control.
He says when young people don't fit in, they get angry and desperate.
When you got no hope and you got nothing to lose, you're a dangerous hombre. Off they go to join this horrendous organization that just hates America and wants to kill people? What kind of twisted ideology is that?
In these situations, parents are, unfortunately, they're more or less checked out.
Being checked in is crucial.
If the kids don't get that old-fashioned TLC like you really need, things can happen.
Many families aren't spending time together. And Derrickson, who's also a father, says patriotism isn't as prominent as it used to be.
It's a societal issue. Something's missing at an early stage.
A stage when minds are still molding and values are invaluable.
It's a classic example where an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Now, the FBI has this initiative, Don't Be a Puppet. It's designed like a game about violent extremism, known groups, who's in danger, and how it happens. And it's not just for teens, but also teachers, community leaders, religious leaders, and parents. In the studio, Ashley Izbicki, News 19 WLTX.